The gentle hum of computers filled the Global Space Communications Center as technicians monitored their screens with practiced efficiency. It was supposed to be an ordinary Tuesday, just like any other, until the strange signal appeared on Monitor Station 7. Tom Walker leaned forward in his chair, his coffee forgotten as he stared at the unusual wavelength pattern dancing across his screen. After 15 years of monitoring deep space signals, he knew this was different. The pattern was too regular, too structured to be natural cosmic noise. "Hey, Mike, come take a look at this," he called out to his colleague. The older technician shuffled over, adjusting his glasses as he peered at the screen. His eyes widened as he processed what he was seeing. "Run it through the decoder," Mike suggested, his voice barely above a whisper. His hand gripped the back of Tom's chair tightly, knuckles turning white with tension. Tom's fingers flew across the keyboard, inputting commands into the system. The computer hummed louder as it processed the signal. Minutes ticked by, feeling like hours. Other technicians began gathering around the station, drawn by the unusual activity. The main screen suddenly lit up with a series of symbols. They weren't like anything human computers typically produced. They shifted and changed, rearranging themselves in patterns that seemed almost alive. "Get the director," someone whispered from the back of the growing crowd. Tom barely registered the sound of running feet as a junior technician sprinted toward the elevator. Director Robert Wilson arrived within minutes, his tie askew and reading glasses perched hastily on his nose. He took one look at the screen and immediately reached for the red phone, the direct line to military command. "This is Director Wilson at GSTC. We have a Code Omega situation. I repeat, Code Omega." His voice was steady, but everyone in the room knew what Code Omega meant. Confirmed extraterrestrial contact. The next few hours passed in a blur of activity. Military officials arrived, followed by cryptographers and linguists from various government agencies. The signal kept streaming in, constant and unchanging in its pattern. By evening, the first breakthrough came. Dr. Linda Peters, the head of linguistic analysis, burst into the main control room with a tablet in her hand. "It's a language primer," she announced, her eyes bright with excitement. "They're teaching us how to communicate." The primer was ingenious in its simplicity. Through mathematical constants and basic physics equations, things that would be universal across any advanced civilization, the message established a foundation for communication. From there, it built up to more complex concepts. As the team worked through the night, the message became clearer. The beings calling themselves the Galactic Council were reaching out to Earth. They had been watching, waiting for humanity to reach a certain level of technological advancement before making contact. "Look at this part," Tom pointed out, now working alongside the linguists. "They're saying they represent over 300 different species." 300. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just meeting one alien civilization. They were about to be introduced to an entire community of spacefaring races. The final part of the message was what caused the room to fall silent. The Galactic Council announced they would be sending representatives to Earth within the week. Official first contact was imminent. As dawn broke over the horizon, casting long shadows through the control room windows, the full weight of what had happened began to sink in. Everything would change. Humanity's place in the universe, their understanding of their own history, their future. Nothing would ever be the same. Director Wilson stood before his tired team, his voice solemn but proud. "What happens in the next few days will be written about in history books for generations to come. Each of you in this room was part of the moment humanity learned they weren't alone. Remember this feeling. Remember this moment." Tom looked around at his colleagues, seeing the same mix of excitement and anxiety on their faces that he felt in his own heart. The coffee cups were cold, the computer still hummed, but the world had changed forever. Humanity had received its invitation to join the galactic community. Little did they know, this invitation would come with expectations that would test humanity's resolve in ways they couldn't yet imagine. The massive ships appeared silently, their dark hulls blocking out the stars As they moved into Earth's orbit, 7 vessels, each larger than anything humanity had ever built, arranged themselves in a perfect formation above the planet. Their arrival sent waves of awe and fear through Earth's population, who watched through telescopes and live satellite feeds as these titans of space took position. Inside the United Nations Emergency Session Chamber, world leaders sat in stunned silence as the Galactic Council's message played on the main screen. The alien representative, a tall being with silvery skin and multiple eyes, spoke in perfectly translated Earth languages. As per the ancient laws of the Galactic Council, established 50,000 years ago, all new species must provide tribute to join our community. This is non-negotiable. The alien's voice was smooth, almost mechanical in its precision. The Council has assessed Earth's resources and determined appropriate tribute levels. Military generals exchanged worried glances as the list of demands appeared on screen. The alien continued, "Your planet will provide 30% of its surface water resources and 25% of all precious metals, including but not limited to gold, silver, platinum, and rare earth elements." The UN Secretary-General gripped his podium tightly. "And if we refuse?" he asked, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The alien's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. Refusal is not an option that has been presented to any species in 12,000 years. The last species that refused no longer exists. The threat, though subtle, was clear. Murmurs filled the chamber as the implications sank in. 30% of Earth's water would cause environmental devastation on a global scale. The loss of precious metals would cripple technological advancement for generations. "You have one standard Earth month to prepare the tribute," the alien announced. "We will provide coordinates for collection points. Our ships will extract the resources efficiently, with minimal disruption to your remaining infrastructure." The transmission ended, leaving the chamber in chaos. Arguments broke out immediately. Some nations wanted to fight, others to comply. The military advisors presented their analysis. Earth's most advanced weapons would be useless against the Council's technology. Outside the UN building, crowds gathered behind police barriers. News of the demands had leaked, and people were scared. Signs ranged from "Welcome our galactic overlords" to "Earth will never submit." The whole world seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see how their leaders would respond. In orbit, the Council ships maintained their positions. Occasional flashes of light sparked between them, some form of communication humanity couldn't yet understand. Their presence was a constant reminder of the choice Earth faced: submit or face consequences. Back in the chamber, the debate raged on. The Russian representative slammed his fist on the table. "We cannot give them our resources. It would destroy us." The Chinese delegate nodded in agreement, while others looked less certain. "Perhaps we can negotiate," suggested the British representative. Surely they would accept a smaller tribute. The American president stood up, his face grim. "They made it clear. This isn't a negotiation. It's an ultimatum." He paused, looking around the room. "But history has shown us what happens when we give in to ultimatums." Data projected on the walls showed the impact of losing so much water. Coastal regions would be devastated. Entire ecosystems would collapse. The loss of precious metals would set human technology back decades, maybe centuries. "1 month," the Secretary-General repeated, rubbing his temples. "We have 1 month to either find a way out of this or prepare to hand over resources that took millions of years to form." As the emergency session continued into the night, the Council ships loomed above, their shadows crossing over cities as Earth rotated beneath them. In homes across the planet, families huddled around television sets and computer screens, waiting for news of their fate. Nobody slept well that night. The stars that had once inspired dreams of exploration now held a different meaning. Humanity had reached the galactic community, but not as equals. They were being treated as a resource to be harvested, a civilization to be taxed before it could even join the table. The countdown had begun. 30 days to either submit to the Council's demands or face extinction. But deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, unknown to the Council, humanity was about to reveal it had a few surprises of its own. The emergency meeting in the Pentagon's deepest bunker was unlike any before. Military leaders from 20 nations sat around a massive table, their faces illuminated by the soft blue glow of tactical displays showing the Council ships in orbit. The mood was grim. Initial assessments of their weapons against the alien vessels weren't promising. Our most advanced missiles wouldn't even scratch their hulls, General Thompson reported, his weathered face tense as he swiped through simulation after simulation. The energy shields they're using are beyond anything we've ever seen. Even our nuclear arsenal would be useless. The room fell silent, the weight of their apparent helplessness pressing down on everyone present. That's when Director Anna Reed of the Advanced Defense Research Division cleared her throat. She had been sitting quietly in the corner, watching the proceedings with an unreadable expression. "There's something you need to see," she said, standing up. Her heels clicked against the floor as she walked to the main display. "What I'm about to show you has been classified beyond top secret for the past decade." She inserted a secure drive into the system, and new images appeared on the screens. Complex diagrams, test results, and videos began playing. The military leaders leaned forward, their expressions changing from despair to cautious interest. 10 years ago, we discovered something unusual in quantum physics experiments, Anna explained. A way to manipulate gravity itself. We've been developing this technology in secret, preparing for the possibility of hostile extraterrestrial contact. The Chinese general interrupted. "Why weren't we informed of this?" His tone was sharp, but his eyes never left the technical data flowing across the screens. "Because," Anna replied calmly, "if we failed, we didn't want to give false hope. And if we succeeded, we needed complete deniability. Think about it. If the Council has been watching us, they believe they know everything about our capabilities." Understanding dawned on faces around the table. The Russian admiral nodded slowly, a faint smile playing at his lips. "We have an ace up our sleeve." More footage played, showing test results from remote facilities. Objects floating in contradictory ways, energy fields bending light itself, and demonstrations of technology that seemed to defy the laws of physics as most understood them. "Our public technology is centuries behind theirs," Anna continued. "But this is something they've never seen before. We've approached quantum mechanics from a completely different direction than their civilization." The British commander raised an eyebrow. "How can you be sure?" "Their ships," Anna pointed to the orbital displays. "They use conventional propulsion systems, just highly advanced ones. If they had this technology, they'd be using it. They don't even know it's possible." The room buzzed with new energy. Hope, dangerous and fragile, began to grow. But the Japanese general raised a valid concern. "Can we deploy this technology in time? We have less than 4 weeks." Anna's smile was subtle but confident. "We've had working prototypes for 3 years. We kept them offline to avoid detection. Everything is in place. We just need authorization to activate the systems." Discussions erupted around the table. This changed everything. Instead of facing a choice between submission and extinction, Earth had a third option. But it would mean revealing their hidden strength, showing a card they could never take back. "If we do this," General Thompson warned, "we have to be absolutely certain. We get one chance to surprise them. If it fails—" "It won't fail," Anna stated firmly. "But we need to maintain the illusion of compliance for now. Let them think we're preparing their tribute. Meanwhile, we'll get everything ready." The next hour was spent in detailed planning. Each nation would play its part, maintaining the deception while secretly preparing for humanity's real response. As the meeting concluded, the mood had transformed from desperation to determined focus. Looking up at the tactical display showing the Council ships, Anna allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The aliens thought they were dealing with a primitive species, one that would either submit or be crushed. They had no idea that humanity had been preparing for this moment, developing technologies in secret that would change the balance of power in ways no one could predict. As the military leaders filed out, each returning to their respective countries to set the plan in motion, Anna remained behind, watching the alien ships through the live feed. Soon, very soon, the Galactic Council would learn that humanity wasn't as helpless as they assumed. The descent into the Pacific facility took nearly 15 minutes. The elevator moved smoothly through layers of rock and reinforced steel, carrying Director Anna Reed and the Joint Military Command Team deeper than most submarines could dive. Security checkpoints grew more frequent as they descended, each requiring multiple forms of authentication. Dr. James Cooper waited for them at the bottom, his silver hair disheveled as always. He had been living in the facility for months now, fine-tuning the systems that might save humanity. The bags under his eyes suggested he hadn't slept much since the council ships arrived. "Welcome to Project Phoenix," he said, leading them through thick blast doors. "What you're about to see is the culmination of 15 years of research and development. The public thinks we've been working on deep-sea mining operations. The truth is far more interesting." The main chamber was enormous, carved directly from the ocean floor and reinforced with advanced materials. In the center, suspended in a complex array of equipment, hung what looked like a sphere of pure darkness. "That," Dr. Cooper said, pointing to the sphere, "is our gravity manipulation core. We call it the Phoenix Heart. It's creating a localized field where the normal rules of physics don't quite apply." The military leaders stared in awe. Objects near the sphere floated erratically, sometimes moving in ways that seemed impossible. Light bent around it in strange patterns, creating miniature rainbows and shadows that shouldn't exist. "How does it work?" asked General Thompson, keeping his distance from the anomaly. "Simply put, we found a way to access quantum fields that most scientists don't even know exist," Dr. Cooper explained. "The Council's technology is incredibly advanced, but it's all based on conventional physics. We went in a completely different direction." He led them to a control room overlooking the main chamber. Screens displayed data streams that would make sense only to a handful of people on Earth. "We can create gravitational fields that can either repel or attract with incredible precision. More importantly, we can project these fields over vast distances." "Can it protect the entire planet?" The Russian admiral's question cut to the heart of the matter. "Better than that." Dr. Cooper smiled, typing commands into a console. A holographic display appeared, showing Earth and the Council ships in orbit. "We can create a field that will make their weapons and propulsion systems completely useless within our solar system." The demonstration showed simulated Council ships trying to maneuver, their engines flaring uselessly against the gravitational fields. Their technology relies on manipulating standard spacetime. Once we change the rules of how gravity works in our vicinity, nothing they have will function properly. Anna stepped forward, examining the simulation closely. "And you're certain they can't detect this technology?" "Positive," Dr. Cooper replied. "We've been running tests for years. The energy signature is completely different from anything they're looking for. To their sensors, this facility probably looks like background radiation from Earth's core." He led them deeper into the facility, past rooms filled with humming equipment and teams of scientists monitoring various systems. "We have similar facilities built into several mountain ranges and ocean floors around the planet. Once activated, they'll work together to create an interlocking field." "How long to bring everything online?" General Thompson asked, making notes on his tablet. "The systems are ready now. We've been running operational tests for months. We just need to synchronize the global network." Dr. Cooper's expression turned serious. "But once we activate at full power, there's no hiding it. The Council will know immediately that we've been keeping secrets." The military leaders exchanged glances. They had all seen what happened when technological advantages shifted suddenly in warfare. History was full of such moments, and they were about to create another one. "Show us everything," Anna commanded. "Every detail, every contingency. When we make our move, there can be no mistakes." For the next several hours, Dr. Cooper walked them through the intricacies of Project Phoenix. Each explanation revealed layers of preparation that had been hidden from the world. Humanity had hoped first contact would be peaceful, but they had prepared for the alternative, developing technologies in secret that might change the balance of power in the galaxy itself. As they finished the tour, looking up at the Phoenix heart pulsing with its strange energy, everyone present understood the weight of what was coming. They weren't just planning to say no to the Council's demands. They were about to reveal that humanity had teeth it had kept hidden, waiting for the moment they were needed most. The underground command center buzzed with activity as military leaders from around the world gathered to finalize their strategy. 3 weeks had passed since the Council's demand, and everything was now in place. Massive screens showed the alien ships still hanging in orbit, their positions unchanged since arrival. Project Phoenix is at full readiness, Dr. Cooper reported, gesturing to the status displays. All 7 facilities are synchronized and ready for activation. We can create the field at a moment's notice. General Thompson stood at the central table, studying a holographic representation of Earth and the Council ships. Our success depends on timing, he said, manipulating the display to show different scenarios. We need them to believe we're complying until the last possible moment. The plan they had developed was bold but simple. Let the Council think Earth was preparing their tribute. Meanwhile, Project Phoenix would power up slowly, hiding its energy signature within normal planetary background radiation. When the moment came, they would reveal their true capabilities. The Council ships have begun moving into position for resource collection, reported the orbital tracking officer. They're exactly where we predicted they would be. Admiral West nodded approvingly. Perfect. Their formation makes them vulnerable. Once we activate the gravity field, their ships will be caught in exactly the right position. The room's attention turned to Anna Reed as she stood up. The public announcement is ready. Every major network and communication system on Earth is prepared to broadcast simultaneously. When we say no, everyone will hear it at once. And the backup plans? Asked the Chinese general, always careful to consider all possibilities. Secondary facilities are ready, Dr. Cooper assured him. Even if they somehow manage to destroy 1 or 2 of our main sites, the remaining ones can maintain the field. We've built in redundancy at every level. The tactical officer spoke up next, pointing to new data on the screens. Our analysis suggests they'll try to use their energy weapons first. The gravitational field will make those completely useless. Their backup weapons are physical projectiles, but those will be affected even more severely by the field distortions. Military units around the world were already in position, though everyone knew conventional weapons would be largely symbolic. This battle would be won or lost by Project Phoenix. Still, humanity would face this threat united, every nation ready to fight if needed. Communication jammers, General Thompson asked, going through the final checklist. Ready to block their transmissions to their home systems, confirmed the electronic warfare specialist. They won't be able to call for help once we begin. The plan had layers within layers. While the gravity field would be their main defense, dozens of other systems and strategies were in place. Humanity had learned through centuries of warfare never to rely on a single advantage, no matter how powerful it seemed. One final concern. The Russian admiral spoke up. What if they have technology we haven't detected? Something that could counter Project Phoenix. Dr. Cooper shook his head. We've studied their ships thoroughly. Their entire technological base operates on principles that will be affected by our field. If they had anything like Phoenix, we would have detected its quantum signature. They're advanced, but they developed in a completely different direction than we did. The room fell silent as everyone contemplated what they were about to do. This wasn't just about refusing tribute. It was humanity's first real step onto the galactic stage. Their response would define Earth's relationship with the Council for generations to come. Very well, General Thompson said finally. All forces are to maintain current positions, continue appearing to prepare for tribute collection. Dr. Cooper, begin the power-up sequence for Project Phoenix. but keep it below detection thresholds. When they make their final demand, we'll be ready with our answer." As the meeting concluded, Anna stayed behind, watching the alien ships on the main display. In less than a week, those ships would learn that humanity wasn't the primitive species they assumed. The Council had demanded tribute based on their assessment of Earth's visible technology. They were about to discover just how much humanity had kept hidden, waiting for a moment exactly like this. The pieces were in place. The trap was set. All that remained was for the Council to make their final demand, and humanity would give them an answer they would never forget. An uneasy calm settled over Earth's major cities as the Council's deadline approached. Military vehicles moved through streets under the pretense of preparing collection points for the tribute. Massive pumping stations had been set up near coastlines, seemingly ready to transfer water to the alien ships. Mining equipment was positioned near mineral deposits, all part of the elaborate deception. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Cooper monitored the power levels of Project Phoenix. The system hummed quietly, its energy signature carefully masked to appear as nothing more than normal geological activity. Technicians worked in shifts, running final checks on every component. "Power levels at 20% and holding," reported one of the engineers, "completely undetectable against background radiation." The main display showed all 7 facilities operating in perfect synchronization, ready to create their protective field at a moment's notice. In orbit, the Council ships had arranged themselves in a precise formation above the designated collection points. Their massive hulls gleamed in the sunlight, a constant reminder of their presence. Smaller vessels began descending into the atmosphere, performing what they called preliminary surveys of the collection sites. "They're buying it," General Thompson said, watching the alien movements from the command center. "Every scan they make shows exactly what we want them to see, a planet preparing to submit." Military bases worldwide maintained their alert status, but carefully hidden under routine activities. Fighter jets performed training exercises that just happened to keep them in strategic positions. Submarines moved silently through deep waters, each one carrying coordinates for their real targets if things went wrong. Director Anna Reeves stood in the United Nations building, preparing for what would be the most important broadcast in human history. Her team had carefully crafted every word of humanity's response, ensuring it would be clear and impossible to misinterpret. "The Council's representative is requesting final confirmation of our preparations," reported the communications officer. "They want to begin tribute collection at dawn tomorrow." "Right on schedule," Anna nodded. She turned to the bank of screens showing feeds from around the world. Everything was in position. The deception had worked perfectly. The Council had no idea what was coming. In cities across the planet, people went about their lives with forced normalcy. Many had already moved inland, away from the coastal collection points. Others watched the skies nervously, the alien ships visible even in daylight now. News channels ran constant coverage of the tribute preparations, all carefully orchestrated to maintain the illusion. Dr. Cooper's voice came through the secure channel. "Phoenix sites all report ready status. Power systems are primed for instant activation. Field projectors are aligned and calibrated." His team had worked miracles, preparing the system for this moment while keeping it hidden from the Council's advanced sensors. The last hours of preparation felt surreal. Surface ships moved into position near the collection points, maintaining the facade. Underground, Project Phoenix hummed quietly, its true power carefully contained. Military commanders reviewed their orders one final time, ensuring everyone knew exactly what to do when the moment came. "Council ships are beginning their final approach," announced the tracking officer. "They're moving exactly as predicted." The alien vessels descended slowly, their massive forms casting shadows over the collection sites. In the command center, General Thompson watched the countdown timer. Less than 12 hours remained until the Council expected to begin harvesting Earth's resources. His eyes moved between displays showing military readiness, Project Phoenix's status, and the positions of Council ships. "All stations, maintain current status," he ordered. Continue regular preparation activities. Let them think everything is proceeding according to their plan. As night fell across the Pacific, the first collection site was illuminated by powerful floodlights. Council ships hovered above, their sensors sweeping the area repeatedly. They found exactly what they expected: a compliant planet ready to surrender its resources. In the depths below, Dr. Cooper checked the Phoenix heart one final time. The quantum core pulsed with contained power, waiting for the signal to reshape the very forces of nature around Earth. Tomorrow, the Council would learn that appearances could be deceiving, and that humanity had been preparing for this moment for far longer than anyone suspected. The moment arrived with the first rays of dawn breaking over the Pacific. Council ships hung low in the morning sky, their massive forms casting long shadows over the collection points. The alien representative's image appeared on screens worldwide, its multiple eyes gleaming with what looked like satisfaction. "We are pleased with Earth's preparations," the alien announced, its translated voice echoing across global communications channels. "Your compliance will make this process efficient. Before we begin resource extraction, we require your formal response to our tribute demand. This is a formality required by Council law." In the underground command center, General Thompson straightened his uniform and looked at the gathered leaders. Each face showed the same resolve. Decades of preparation had led to this moment. Dr. Cooper's hand hovered over the Phoenix activation controls, ready to trigger the system the instant humanity gave its answer. Director Anna Reed stepped forward to the main communication panel. Her voice would deliver humanity's response. They had debated for days about what to say, how to phrase it. In the end, they decided on absolute simplicity. No speeches, no explanations, no warnings. "Patching through to all channels now," the communications officer announced. "Every screen, every speaker, every device on Earth will broadcast simultaneously." The alien representative waited, its multiple eyes blinking in sequence. The Council ships above continued their slow descent, massive storage containers extending from their hulls, ready to begin collecting Earth's water and minerals. Anna took a deep breath. In the Pacific facility, Dr. Cooper's fingers tensed over the controls. Around the world, military forces waited silently. Everything depended on perfect timing. She pressed the broadcast button. Her voice, clear and unwavering, delivered humanity's response to the galaxy. No. For 2 heartbeats, nothing happened. The alien's eyes blinked rapidly, its translator seemingly struggling with the concept that a species would refuse tribute. Then chaos erupted. "Activating Phoenix," Dr. Cooper shouted, his hands flying across the controls. Deep beneath the oceans and mountains, quantum cores surged to life. Energy that had been contained for years burst forth, reshaping the very fabric of space around Earth. The effect was instant and dramatic. Council ships suddenly lurched in the sky, their precise formation crumbling as gravity itself rebelled against their technology. Warning signals blared across their fleet as their engines fought against forces they weren't designed to handle. "Field is stable," Dr. Cooper reported. "Full coverage achieved. Their weapons and propulsion systems are completely neutralized within the field." On screens worldwide, the alien representative's image flickered as it struggled to comprehend what was happening. This is impossible. Your technology level. You couldn't." "We choose not to pay tribute," Anna stated firmly, her voice carrying across all channels. "Earth is not your resource to harvest. We are not your subjects to command. We are equals, or we are nothing." The Council ships tried to fire their weapons, but the gravitational field turned their energy beams into harmless light shows, twisting them away into space. Physical projectiles fired from their ships moved as if through thick cirrus, losing all momentum before reaching anywhere near Earth's atmosphere. "Think carefully about your next action," General Thompson added, his voice joining the broadcast. "Your ships are currently trapped in our gravitational field. You can't fight, you can't flee, and you can't call for help. We suggest you reconsider your position on tribute." Around the world, Humans watched in awe as the mighty Council fleet hung helpless in the sky, their supposedly invincible ships now at the mercy of forces they didn't understand. The single word, "No," echoed across global networks, repeated in every language, becoming an instant symbol of humanity's defiance. In the command center, Anna watched the alien representative's image as realization dawned in its multiple eyes. The Council had demanded tribute from what they thought was a primitive species, only to discover that humanity had teeth, very, very sharp ones. The simple refusal, backed by power the Council never imagined Earth possessed, had changed everything. Now came the hard part, negotiating a new relationship with a galactic community that had just learned that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Council ships hung motionless in Earth's sky, caught in the invisible grip of Project Phoenix. Their once threatening presence now served as a demonstration of humanity's hidden strength. In the command center, military leaders watched as the alien vessel's futile attempts to break free grew less frequent. Field integrity holding at 100%, Dr. Cooper reported, his eyes fixed on the quantum readings. Their engines are completely ineffective against our gravity manipulation. Every time they try to power up their weapons, the energy disperses harmlessly. The alien representative's image flickered back onto the main screen, its silver skin now showing signs of distress. This technology, it should not be possible. Our scanners showed your civilization was centuries behind such capabilities. You saw what we wanted you to see, Anna replied calmly. Humanity learned long ago to keep some advantages hidden. We had hoped first contact would be peaceful, but we prepared for alternatives. Around the world, people gathered in streets and squares, watching the immobilized Council fleet on massive screens. The fear that had gripped Earth since the Council's arrival was transforming into something else. Pride, hope, and determination. Your options are limited, General Thompson addressed the alien representative. You can either open real diplomatic channels, as equals, or remain trapped in our gravitational field. The choice is yours. The demonstration of Project Phoenix continued as the hours passed. Every attempt by the Council ships to break free only proved the completeness of their containment. Their most powerful weapons dissipated into harmless light shows, twisted by gravitational forces they couldn't comprehend. In the Pacific facility, Dr. Cooper expanded the field's effects, giving the Council ships a small taste of what the system could really do. Their massive vessels shifted slightly, moved by invisible forces with surgical precision. We're only using a fraction of the system's capability, he explained to the military observers. The field could be much stronger, but this is enough to make our point without appearing hostile. The alien representative's next transmission carried a markedly different tone. The Council requests a discussion of terms. This situation is unprecedented in our history. No species has ever refused tribute, let alone possessed the means to enforce their refusal. We're willing to talk, Anna responded. But first, you need to understand something fundamental about humanity. We don't respond well to demands or threats. We never have. Every time someone has tried to force us to submit, they've discovered we're far more dangerous than we appear. Tactical displays showed more Council ships arriving at the edge of the solar system, but they maintained their distance, unwilling to risk entering the field that had trapped their companions. Earth's message had been received clearly. Humanity would not be easily conquered or coerced. Release our ships, the alien demanded, though its voice lacked its former authority, and we will discuss new terms. No, General Thompson replied simply. We'll maintain the field until proper diplomatic protocols are established. Your ships will be released when we have guarantees that the Council recognizes Earth's sovereignty and right to self-determination. In cities across the planet, the mood was shifting from tense anticipation to cautious celebration. Humanity had stood up to the galactic bullies and proven themselves capable of backing up their defiance with action. Dr. Cooper's team continued monitoring the field, making minor adjustments as needed. The technology that had been developed in secret for so long was performing perfectly. changing the balance of power in ways the Council never anticipated. "They're powering down their weapon systems," reported the tactical officer. "All Council ships are shifting to minimal power states. They're standing down." The alien representative's final transmission of the day showed clear signs of acceptance. "The Council acknowledges Earth's unique position. We request formal diplomatic contact to discuss a new framework for relations between Earth and the galactic community." Anna exchanged glances with General Thompson before responding. "We accept your request for diplomatic discussions. But remember, this is just the beginning. Humanity has many more surprises if you choose to test us again." The Council ships remained suspended in Earth's sky, a constant reminder that humanity had changed the rules of the game. They had taken the Council's demand for tribute and answered it not just with words, but with a demonstration of power that would reshape galactic politics forever. 3 months after humanity's defiant no, the landscape of galactic politics had changed dramatically. The Council chambers, located in a massive space station at the edge of the Orion Arm, buzzed with activity as representatives from 300 species debated the implications of Earth's revelation. Earth's own delegation stood confidently before the Council, led by Director Anna Reed. The chamber's design, meant to intimidate new species, now seemed less imposing. The towering alien architecture couldn't overshadow the fact that humanity had earned its place here. "The tribute system is officially suspended," announced the Council leader, its multiple eyes scanning the gathered representatives. "Earth's demonstration of advanced gravitational technology has forced us to reconsider many of our fundamental policies." News of Earth's defiance had spread quickly through the galaxy. Other species, long resigned to paying tribute, watched with growing interest as humans reshaped centuries of Council tradition with a single word and an unprecedented show of force. "We propose a new framework for integrating emerging civilizations into the galactic community," Anna addressed the chamber. "One based on mutual respect and cooperation, not demands and threats." The changes were already visible. Council ships no longer approached Earth with arrogance, but with careful diplomacy. The presence of Project Phoenix had become common knowledge, though its exact capabilities remained a closely guarded secret. The mystery of what else humanity might have hidden only added to their new reputation. 6 new species have already requested review of their tribute agreements, reported one Council member, its crystalline form shimmering with concern. Earth's actions have triggered a fundamental shift in galactic politics. Dr. Cooper, now serving as Earth's chief scientific advisor to the Council, smiled slightly at this news. The technology he had helped develop hadn't just protected Earth, it had become a catalyst for change throughout the galaxy. Change was inevitable. General Thompson responded from his place in the Earth delegation. "The old system was built on intimidation. We simply proved that appearances can be deceiving and that wisdom sometimes comes from unexpected sources." The Council chambers had been modified to include a permanent Earth embassy section. The simple addition spoke volumes about humanity's new status. They weren't just another species paying tribute. They were equals, brought to the table by their ingenuity and courage. "Earth's technology represents a completely new direction in physics," admitted the Council's chief scientist. "We had become complacent, assuming we knew all possible paths of development. You have shown us how much we still have to learn." Trade agreements were already being formalized. Earth would share some of its technological insights while gaining access to the Council's vast knowledge base. But Project Phoenix remained Earth's ace card, a reminder that humanity had earned its place through strength as well as wisdom. "The galaxy is entering a new era," Anna declared to the Assembly. "One where cooperation and mutual respect replace demands and tribute. Earth is proud to help lead this transformation." In the months since their standoff, dozens of Council ships had visited Earth peacefully. Their crews were invariably humbled by the reality that this seemingly primitive planet had developed technology that could neutralize their most advanced systems. "Let the record show," the Council leader announced, "that Earth's entry into the galactic community marks the end of the tribute era. Future relations will be based on the principles of mutual benefit and respect. The chamber erupted in a chorus of alien voices, some celebrating, others still adjusting to the new reality. But none could deny that humanity's single word of defiance had changed everything. Back on Earth, the public celebration of their new galactic status continued. The council ships that had once threatened their world now served as a reminder of humanity's triumph. Schools already taught children about the day Earth said no to galactic bullies and backed it up with hidden strength. As the council session concluded, Anna looked out at the sea of alien faces. Many species that had initially supported the tribute demand now sought Earth's friendship and alliance. Humanity had proven that true strength wasn't about showing power, but knowing when to reveal it. The galaxy had demanded tribute, and humanity had answered with a single word. But it was the power behind that word. The years of secret preparation, the hidden technological advances, and the unwavering unity in the face of threats that had truly changed the course of galactic history.